Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin this stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior and Arwin. If you can stop screen sharing, that'd be brilliant, Arwin.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
How are you both doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, doing good.
Good to
Yeah,
have
doing
you.
good. She's just gone out with the dogs, so I'm going to have one whimpering, so I'm going to go on mute for a minute.
Oh, okay.
So she's down, so
Great timing again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect timing. She said, you're going to start, and I'm like, well, yeah, I could do a little bit early, but as soon as we actually start,
I'm all
straight on
good. It's
mute.
just this little worm. Come here. This little worm, because the other two have gone out for a walk and she's left on her own. She feels left out. She doesn't realise that she's going on a walk in 10 minutes. Are you?
I see.
So did you see ISIS chat last night?
No, but we've just literally just had a huge conversation about it, so, you know, I feel reasonably informed.
You're not meant to tell everybody that we've already prepped each other because that makes it not seem spontaneous.
Not prepping each other. I know. Before the show started, we all went, we got anything to talk about? I went, the Earth's flat, that's not going to change, so don't really care. And
Well,
Darwin went, I've got nothing to talk about, and you said, nah, not really. Then we started, and we're just going to chat about, obviously, what we've just been chatting about. So it's not like we've prepped each other. We've just been chatting about the day's events yesterday. Big shout out to Shield Scanner. Woo, woo, woo. 200 show. Happy Nathan. Indeedy.
What you actually said was,
Wow.
nah, I went to bed at 6 o'clock last night. And I was like, oh, right, so you missed the whole show? Yeah. So we
Yeah.
then spoke about ISIS chat. And obviously, in ISIS chat last night, I got a message from, I think it was Dawn Treader, saying, the Rumpus is in with Issa. Do you want to come and join? And I was like, hell yes. So I went in and got myself connected up and whatever. And the Rumpus made one of these silly assertions that he's been making recently. And the assertion he made was that, well, I think he said something like, for £15, you can rent a theodolite and you can stand on the beach and you can do with one simple sum, you can calculate the radius of the Earth. Obviously, we've already had that conversation about a week ago, and we showed that the horizon is not an actual horizon. And for the purposes of deducing or calculating the drop, it's not reliable because you're not looking at the actual horizon. You're looking at the apparent horizon. Shut up.
Sorry.
But he's got out and he's not just doubled down. He's kind of rinsed and repeated his nonsense. And I was like, what are you talking about? However, he literally spoke over me for the whole time, and I wasn't able to get any words out, so I just gave up on him. So he was able to claim a moral victory from a perceived position of superiority, but it was because I just couldn't get a word in. I'd start speaking, and then 3 words later, he would interrupt me, and I just thought, forget it, I just can't do it. And then he obviously blamed you for the way you treat me, the way you treat him, for the way he's treating me. Shut up. So,
Well,
just have to give
Rumpus
up on him.
doesn't need the presence of other people to claim victory.
I don't know what's wrong with the man. There's something seriously cognitively and psychologically wrong with him. Because if you start having a debate or an attack or a fight or whatever you want to call it, to have the debate, you have to allow the other person to respond. And if you don't allow the other person to respond, it's just a clusterfuck all by himself.
A monologue.
Nice,
It's
Ray.
called a monologue.
Hello, whatever you're called. How you doing? Ben.
Yeah, to be honest, that name, you just can't trust that name, can you? To be honest, let's be honest. If you're
I
gonna
don't
come into the chat.
Can you not?
Yeah, the icon of a lemon. Come on.
Benny the
You got
gangster.
to at least give them some chance to say hello, though, because if we're never ever going to have a new guest if they're automatically kicked just because they don't like the look of their icon. But fair enough. If you two both now drop, we'll know you are absolutely correct.
Yeah. Well, so last night I had to just literally concede, not on merits, but I had to concede on just his tactical style of just being the rudest person ever to debate with. And if you are listening, Rumpus, pack it in, will you? If you're here to debate, debate, not be a prick, because that's essentially what you were doing. And nobody can respond to you when you're being like that. There's just no conversation.
He's not here to debate. He's here to preach.
And to literally to obfuscate. Shut up. Shut up. She's looking out the window because she's not gone out with the other two. She's like, I want to go out. I want to go out.
I mean, just so I'm sure you guys have come up against this when you have asserted things like the horizon rises to eye level, and then you come across the globe side saying, "Hi, Alan."
Hey, Ellen.
Hi.
Saying that it doesn't, and what they're talking about is the apparent horizon. So they have the same argument with us when we're talking about the horizon at altitude.
See, I've seen that claim where the horizon rises to eye level. I've seen the evidence that goes against that, but I've also seen that you can't actually work out an apparent horizon. So you're guessing it based on what you think is where the horizon should be. But obviously you can't even see the horizon. It blends into, or it diffuses into a blur. There is no hard horizon. Who knows where the horizon is there?
Well, it's one of the first flat earth things that you come across. Planes do fly on a plane.
No. Well, the actual horizon is basically displaced into the vanishing zone.
Bob?
That's not a... Oh, we're getting troll attack.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Anyway, Nathan, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, happy anniversary, 200, or,
Oh, shows.
Yes, that's 16.666 days.
16. I don't get the math reference. 16.66 days. What do you mean?
Well, I guess he's done 200 shows times 2 hours and then worked out how many hours there are in each day, etc.
Oh, duration. I see.
Right. Rune Thorson says, speech, speech, speech.
Beach. It's been emotional.
It's been a roller coaster ride.
And generally, we're always one step ahead.
We're on the winning side of the argument. This side, flat earth side. So, yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so basically the Rumpus was reciting something that he knows is false. And I'm like, what on earth are you doing? You know that that's not accurate. But then what he said was, well, it's so close. It's like basically it's acceptable. Have you ever known Rumpus consider a guess to be acceptable?
No.
Calculates everything out to like 15 decimal points. Yeah, he's prepared to accept a guess for where the horizon is. No, I'm not doing that, Rumpus. That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? Are you literally preaching?
Yeah.
It was like a sermon.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
But I barely even... He never... Or rarely. He rarely actually responds to something that's said. He usually just immediately jumps in and obfuscates and goes into an entirely different direction. And he kind of makes it sound like he's responding, but he's not actually responding. And he does this constantly. Hey, who's that? Oh, contact.
So, shut up.
Many of these sock accounts that join to troll us don't even have a profile.
Now your dog is trolling us. Sir.
Yeah. I'm getting more coherence out of the dog, though, than I am out of most people, including Alan. Good morning, Alan. How are we?
Not too bad. Tony, how are you?
I'm very good. Is your Tourette's on a better mood today? Your Tourette's got a little bit borderline yesterday.
Tourette's?
Toes to the fire, toes to the fire.
Oh, that was rather funny, wasn't it? Arwen
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
Actually.
Yep.
Because you were being really respectful for the whole hangout, and then you just burst into it. And I did laugh.
Well, Nathan does get in a groove.
He does. Right, I'm going to have to go on mute while I... Give me a sec.
I don't think that's Riley's dog. I think that's his stomach.
No, I think that
His
would sound a
stomach's the
little
one
bit lower.
growling. I like it.
It wants pie.
Oh,
More trolls.
there we go again.
So anyway, Arwen, You believe in gravity?
Believe? Believe? No, I think that I've sufficiently proven that it is a thing without automatically
Sufficiently,
jumping to a conclusion as to what causes it.
sufficiently proven that it's a thing.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say scientifically proven. Well, I would, but yeah, I know what'll happen. But I can name elaborate examples as to how you can deduce that it's there and how it affects buoyancy and density.
Go on.
Is it just beyond the slant?
No, those
On the imaginary
are
slant.
optical phenomena. Doesn't have nothing to do with gravity.
Well, for me, the only way that gravity could be a force is if you think about it logically, right? The Earth is supposed to be spinning. It's a ball that's supposed to be spinning, and that would create a centrifugal force. But the only way that a centrifugal force could be interpreted to be gravity would be if we were on the inside of the spinning ball. Shut
No,
up.
not even that. No, because then
Hello?
it would only work, and I actually
Richard?
laid this out in a hangout. It would only work if we
Right.
were inside of a spinning tube. Because even in a hollow ball, then the centrifugal induced gravity, let's just call it would only really work on the equators. And yeah, people could just jump up in the North and South Pole and then just float off to the middle, pretty much. So no.
Well, for me, if gravity really is a force, the only way it could work would be if we're on the inside of the ball. Therefore, welcome convex Earth.
Now, you
Concave
are
Earth.
now automatically assuming that this gravity that we deduce, that we can figure out how it works, or not how it works, but that it's there, and yeah, how it seems to
I'm not
influence the
automatically
environment,
assuming
you're concluding what is then supposedly going to cause it. It's jumping to conclusions.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, if gravity is a force pushing down on us, which is what what's his name, Rumpus claims it is. For me, the only way that can happen is if we are spinning, but on the inside of a ball, not on the outside. Because obviously, being on the outside, that would work against gravity. That's
Yeah, well, if you describe gravity as just as
Hello,
centrifugal force
Ash Hall.
pushing
How you
down,
doing?
then yeah,
Can you say hello?
but it's not.
Hello, Ash. Can you say hello?
Oh, no, I don't think it was. Sorry, I kicked him.
to be honest, there's going to be numerous ones because they're going to try and do it. Like number 20, number 200.
Johnson Wowser.
Nah, it's a known soccer account.
Right. Well, we're getting swarmed.
Yeah, it's all right. We got like 2 hours left. It's fine. Keeps me paying attention. Oops.
No, but the whole problem is with gravity, and it is really is a psychological problem, and that is that it's literally everywhere. It's in your face. You deal with it constantly, but you can't basically figure out what causes it. And this is a psychological problem to people. It's the very similar to the globe of the heavens. Just like, what is causing that?
Correct.
You don't know.
But that's what they
And yeah,
assert, Arwen.
sorry,
They're
you're just
asserting.
gonna have to deal with it that you don't know.
That's what they assert, though. They're asserting it's a cause, and it's not. It's an effect, and we can observe
Exactly.
that effect, and we can describe that effect. But they're calling it a cause.
Yeah, that's wrong. It is a constant. It is an element of the world.
Oh, that one took Arwen with him. Did he take all of them? You still there, Alan?
Looks like I'm still here, Nathan. Let's reminisce.
What about you, Sleeping Warrior? Still there?
You'll be having a pie. So, Nathan, 200.
There will be a short interlude. Welcome to the show. So the link is now out in Skype chat. Hopefully get Darwin and Sleeping Warrior back in. Battle the trolls once more on a new hangout. Hello again.
I
I'll leave the link private for a few moments, I think, just till we get to the end of our conversation.
Yep.
Link is in Masturbator's chat if you're listening, Sleeping Warrior. Sniper using Coriolis effect. Is that right, Multi-Tom-Tom?
No, there's no Coriolis effect. It's made up.
Made of Google bullets.
It's just a nice little scientism myth. It's like a superstitious folklore, except it came from the science community.
Contradiction in terms, if you ask me. Coriolis makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Don't need an explanation. If you're out there, ballers, don't even think about it. Not interested.
What's that? Don't even need an explanation for what?
Oh, just a joke from Multi-Tom-Tom in the chat. Said snipers
Right.
using the Coriolis effect.
Right, let me open it up. I guess that whilst I was on the phone, Darwin couldn't deal with the avalanche, right?
You got it.
So they heard my phone ring, they all joined, and they just ended it.
That's it. It's part of the fun. Show 200, man. It wouldn't be the same if it wasn't happening.
It's like a scene out of Monty Python, isn't it? It's almost like they're all sat round in their little table, and they've got Biggest Dickus, and they've got a few others, all sat round waiting, and then his phone's ringing. Right, let's get in there. And it's just bombarded.
Follow me, Biggest.
It's like what's the Colosseum scene where they're arguing over religions?
Oh,
I can't remember the names that they got. We're part of the such and such of this, that, and the other, and they're all fighting amongst themselves over various elements of it.
Silius Sodus. Biggest Dickus.
Silly sodders.
Yeah, he has a wife, you know. Do you know what she's called?
Go, what was the wife called?
Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks.
I do love Monty Python. We were watching. I won't use the swear word. Idiot logic by watching them weigh a witch against a duck, because if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's made of wood, and if she's made of wood, wood burns, and if she burns, they burn witches. Therefore, witches are made of wood. If they weigh the same as a duck, therefore burn her. It's just like nonsense logic. It's like, sounds familiar.
Yeah, logic and reason. That's how logic and reason gets to it.
Oh,
Going for a walk in a minute. Like children.
Right, let's stick this link out again. I think we've had 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm back in now. I'm sorted.
Let's
Uninterrupted
get Allenby back in.
chit chat about nonsense and Monty Python. What's the rustling? What's going on?
Oh, sorry, that's me. Me playing with me. Matilda Rice.
Right. Anthony dropped his phone in the bathtub, so now it's in a bag of rice. But it still works,
Yeah.
so he's having to fish it out every time he gets a phone call.
Yeah, it still works, but the lens that's got the internal camera bit, the lens is all misted up with condensation, obviously, because it's got water in it. And Nathan said, stick it in a bag of rice. So now I'm going to answer my phone through the bag of rice.
Way to do it. It's not like it will just do it in 5 minutes. You've got to leave it in there for a day.
Yeah.
I would
It's
just
okay.
leave it out until you don't need it.
Like when I go to bed.
Yeah. Just just enough time to rot every circuit inside.
Yeah.
Of course, you need your phone. You know you've got business to run, so you need your phone. But by the same token, using it is probably killing it, and it's making that choice. Do I just hang up the phone for a day and sod the business? And you can't. So might be a 200 phone bill when it's knackered.
I don't think it's going to make that much difference to the phone, is it, if it's being used?
Well, it's getting warm.
Yeah, that'll dry it, although, won't it?
Well, maybe. It's all bad news, really, isn't it?
That's the way I'm seeing that one.
You don't want your phone underwater. Even if it's waterproof, I wouldn't put my phone underwater. It's
it wasn't
waterproof, so in
intentional,
case you
I'll
drop
be
it in the
honest.
bath, you don't have to panic.
Oh, here comes the troll.
Yeah, the other downside of the reset and the Hangout link is that all the trolls that had just previously been banned, they've all been reset.
Yeah, I know. So it's like start fresh. Right, let's get Alwyn back in as he's already been taken out. Not quick enough on the trigger. Yeah, man. Just not quick enough, Alwyn. Hey, Alan.
Never fear, Alan's here.
We weren't in any sort of fear.
So, Nathan, 200 shows. What's been your favourite bit?
Hello.
Favourite bit?
Yeah, imagine I'm Parkinson.
Okay, you'll have to give me a minute. I don't know what my favourite bit is. I've got to be honest. So I don't know what to say.
To be honest, my best bit was when Paul Voigt was arguing over whether reduced meant reduced in that context on the OS survey maps. That was brilliant.
Quite like the recent bit with Sly Sparkane. What an idiot! But that was funny as hell.
My
What
favorite.
about you? What about Arwin?
What's your favourite bit in the last 200 shows, Arwen?
Hard to tell. I'm hearing echo, by the way.
That'll go, hopefully. in a
But
moment.
yeah, no, there's been many good moments, and
Meeting
I don't
me?
know. Sorry?
Meeting me, perhaps?
Well, I haven't really met you, so I've met you in the Hangout. But no, I think that it's very hard to really say what the most favorite moment. There are several favorite moments, and those are mostly the moments that I actually you don't. Not getting tripping over my own tongue here, but it's mostly the moments when I really start to figure out certain things that before I avoided. So that's what I love about this whole trip, about the whole development here, is that I'm learning so much, and I'm rediscovering things. I'm remembering things that I even learned in school and kind of forgot a bit. Learned a lot more detail about gravity. Got away the misconceptions there. I think that what I like most about everything that's been happening in the last half year is that so many people really are confirming my original suspicion that how I used to say it in the early days and dropped it in chat even over a year ago, and that is that the heavenly bodies are holographic in nature. And I really like that has caught on in a big way. I really like that.
What about you,
Very
Alan?
proud of it.
You're both sides of the fence, so you're on the show a bit, but you're mostly a viewer. So, what's been your favourite bit?
Stuff to
I
treat.
quite like Paul Voigt. He was very entertaining. Of
Yeah.
course. Your very own Chris Eubank impersonator, Mr. Spurs Machismo. He's always entertaining.
Yeah, but what do you mean by Chris Eubank entertainment? He doesn't sound anything like him.
Oh, yes,
He
he
hasn't got a
does.
lisp. Doesn't
Yes.
have a lisp for a start.
Chris Eubank
Chris
talks
Eubank?
like through his nose.
No,
And
you
Chris Emo doesn't talk like that. Chris Eubank's got a very specific tone to his lip.
that is, who's that?
Chris
That's Chris
Eubank
Eubank.
is like as eccentric as they get. So he wears like a tweed 3-piece, sometimes 4-piece suit with a monocle. He carries a cane or an umbrella at all times, and he drives a 6-wheel big rig in Britain.
Yeah. And he does it right. He parks on double yellows because he knows that they can't put a wheel brace on him, and I love that.
So he can't get clamped.
Yeah, that's why he bought it.
I
He was a
love
very
it.
good boxer.
You can't clamp
But
it.
he's nuts. Can you imagine seeing Chris Eubank climbing down in a three-piece tweed suit from a big rig in your little village? Because I've seen some of the clips where he's driving, and he lives in a little village. You know, it's not like it's easy for him to drive this thing through where he lives. It's massive. It's enormous.
I just love the fact that he's got the bolshiness to do that. I think that's excellent.
Yeah, I like Chris Eubank. I think he's a proper character and genuinely nice and a good boxer. You can't
Yeah.
really ask for much more than that.
I enjoyed watching him fight. He wasn't the best of fighters. He was quite soft, really, but he had a good punch. But his son now, I think, isn't his son called Chris Eubank Jr.?
Is that so?
Yes, not very imaginative.
Yeah, couldn't think of any names, so we called him Chris. I've not seen his son fight, but I enjoyed watching Chris Eubank fight. Prince Nassim Hamid. Have you seen any pictures of him recently?
Yeah, I saw him on a bookie's window a couple of days ago. I'm sure he's in a fight tonight or something.
No.
No, that's Khan.
Prince Nassim-
Oh, is that Khan? So it shows how much I know about boxing.
Yeah, Prince Nassim Hamid. He was known as the Prince, wasn't he? Like skinny little whippersnapper.
Okay.
He's absolutely massive now. He's a bloater.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah,
Yes, he has a clothes shop in Sheffield.
really. Oh, I love that. I love that. I thought Nassim Hamid was an excellent fighter. Yeah,
Just
that
to change the subject
cocksure-
slightly, sorry, not much as it's fun to talk about this. So, back onto Flat Earth. Alan, so you're obviously pretending to be a famous writer. That's obviously
No, I'm not.
Well, obviously that's not you. But my question is, why, when you are on the side of the majority, with the consensus behind you and, quote, the whole body of science behind you, why would you need any anonymity at all?
Don't want Tony coming round and eating all my tea. Fair enough.
Thought that was a bit
There
harsh, to
are
be
a lot
honest.
of trolls involved, so
Is that
Does it
really
matter?
the...
don't blame
Does
him.
it matter what I look like?
No, I don't care about what you look like. I'm asking, it's the reverse, isn't it? It's what you don't look like because you're completely anonymous. So, but why would you need anonymity is kind of my question.
I don't. I just
Fair
rather
enough.
enjoy it.
Fair enough. Maybe someone else will give me a better answer.
You're obsessed with it, though. You
With
can look
what?
at my face. It's my real name. It doesn't matter. It's
Is
all
it
a
actually his real name?
Far from
Allenby
obsessed.
is not your real name.
No, it isn't.
But it's just in this small little corner of the internet that we find ourselves. For the most part, I would say that the flat earthers are generally a bit more open about their identity than the ball earthers.
Yes, I guess you want the fame.
Maybe it's that. That could be one of the reasons. Certainly me, I'm a videographer. I want to succeed on YouTube. So if you want to call that wanting fame, that could be accurate.
Well, you've always wanted to be a presenter. You can tell that.
I don't know about presenter. I trained as an actor.
You'd be rubbish on Blue Peter.
Is that right?
Yes. Poor children getting their toes pointed into the fire for not
Right.
colouring something in properly.
A Brazilian goddess in chat. I know she's a bother, but she said she wanted to join. So if you see her, don't kick her immediately.
Bloody hell, I picked my cup up for a quick slurp and I'm out.
Yeah. Don't mess around on the 200 show, mate.
Yeah. Shout out to
Ellen's
Chris
still there.
MCM.
Is Ellen still there?
Yeah, Alan's
Get
still
the-
there.
Yes, I'm still here.
Ah.
Do you have a question for me, Arwin?
What is your real age?
Oh, can't you ask him a flat Earth related question? Why on earth would you think the Earth's a sphere, Alan?
Why not?
Because there's no evidence to back it.
Well, you believe the moon's a sphere, don't you?
No, I've seen it demonstrated in the last couple of weeks to be easily modelable, not as a sphere.
So what is it?
I don't know.
See, you're on the fence. I don't know.
Well, I don't.
Then you don't know if it's flat or round, then.
I've been all over the world and I've seen it with my own eyes. It's flat. And a lot of the
been all
globe
over the
Earth,
globe.
and a lot of the globe Earth explanations start with things like, yeah, it looks flat, but. So as far as I can tell, and from everything I've seen, from every vantage point I've ever been at, the Earth is obviously and observably flat. And it's obviously and observably flat to everybody.
Well, some people have another way of approaching it. I guess it's very much like the witch trial thing, and that is, hey, if you can look at the moon, you can see it, so that means it's a ball of dirt. Remember that one?
Sure. But if you're in a wood, so you're walking through a forest, and you look around and you go, look at all these trees, they're so big, they're everywhere, they're all above me. Does that make you a tree?
What?
Does that make you a tree?
That's a terrible analogy.
Well, what we're
No, it's
saying
not.
is, what ballers are saying is, we look up at the sky and we see trees. Therefore, we're a tree.
Nathan, if you were in the woods and you said something, would you still be wrong?
It's an analogy. It's not an incorrect analogy. It's the correct analogy. You look up
Pretty
and
cool.
see balls and go, we're on a ball, because I'm looking up and seeing balls. And I'm saying, well, if you're in a forest and you look up and see trees, do you say, I'm a tree?
Now, well, you could say we're on a tree. That's kind of funny because that kind of plays into the whole Yggdrasil theory. So there may be some legitimacy to that.
I think some of your listeners live in trees.
I'd like to hear that, Arwin, because that's an Earth theory.
It's basically it is the Nordic concept that the Earth is basically one giant tree, and it's mysterious. There's pictures of it, religious iconography, but yeah, how to actually interpret it is another thing. But I theorized pretty early on that you could perhaps see the Earth's surface and its interconnections, and if you model that out, the surface space, then it could be a tree, just like it could be a monolith or a male organ, as you like to say. But yeah, you could also call that a tree, and perhaps there were branches where spatial density is uniquely extreme, that you could call that a branch. If there's like more space in a specific spot, then yeah, you could consider that a branch, like a peak. So hey, who knows? Maybe the Earth is the spatial interconnections of the Earth's surface. If you'd actually map that out in a model, in a non-literal model, then maybe it is a tree, or it was a tree at some point. Who knows? It's highly theoretical, but who knows, you know?
Fascinating.
Yeah, it is. That's what I love about the whole flat Earth thing. Is people make so many assumptions. People make do so many oversimplifications, and you take away all these possibilities. You don't even consider them, that they could be a part, that looping could be a part, that a difference in spatial density at certain locations could be a part of it. And if you take that all away, yeah, then you're either stuck with a ball or with a snow globe or something, you know?
I think they're all equal.
And you don't know. And
you've
if the observations then don't exactly match that model, and you're just going to ignore that, then yeah, we're pretty much stuck in some kind of dogma
probably the
based
same
on our
amount.
need of oversimplification.
Probably the same amount of scientific evidence for the Earth being a tree as there is for a globe, i.e., none.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely love to explore, although literal exploration would be required. I would like to explore the possibility of regions on the Earth that could have a different spatial density, and then try to figure that out somehow. But yeah, that's going to be a big project. It's going to be complicated to do. going to take resources, so I'm not going to be able to do it on my own. I think that the elite, NASA probably, they could have done it. They probably will have done it because they need the specific data to basically to have all their advantages. So they probably have mapped it out. If there are differences in spatial density on the Earth, then they know where it is. I highly doubt it that there's still something left to explore for them, at least. Although maybe what's under the Earth or through the Earth, maybe they haven't gone there yet.
Just to clarify, I'm going to speak for Arwin. I don't think Arwin actually thinks the Earth is a tree. He just understands that theory and has explained it at my request. That doesn't mean he's A, wood elf, or B, believes the Earth is a tree.
Well, I wouldn't deny it either.
Fair enough.
Dear.
Fair enough.
Hey, I'm named Arwin, you know. My mother seemed to believe, to some extent, in elves. I like the idea. I like what Tolkien did with the elves. I like the legend of the Nordics, how they came from what they then call Eden, the mysterious land beyond the North Pole. I think that it is tied in with humanity, and I kind of like to believe that the Earth could be a tree, the way the Earth's surface is interconnected. That could be, when you map it out, that it could be shaped like a tree. So, you know,
Are you
I
talking
find it
about
a lot more
the?
poetic than just a silly ball or something, or a tube, or even a cube, like a looping cube. That's all very geometrical, but you know, symmetry is really, when it really comes down to it, symmetry is not as interesting as, well, shapes that come from nature, the fractal-like shapes of a tree. I find it much more interesting, much more inspiring.
Hey, Nummy Num. How you doing?
Good. How's it going with you guys?
Bad.
Nummy, if you get sniped, do you want me to add you to Skype the minute you get sniped? Because I'm sure
Sure.
you're bound to.
That would be nice. Thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
noticed that offer wasn't open to me.
No, it wouldn't be.
No.
We have no idea who you are.
Yeah, respectfully, we can't. You obviously you understand that position, right?
Oh, rather rude.
No, not really. You wouldn't let
Common
a,
sense.
hey Dawn,
Hello,
how you doing?
hello.
Hello. You wouldn't let a total
Is my
stranger in your house.
Mic
would
working
you?
normally? I think it is.
You just gave that as your reason for wanting anonymity. You wouldn't want Anthony coming around for tea, right?
Only because he'd eat it all. I think I would have him round and take him for a pint.
You'd take him out of the house.
Sounded like you were stuttering then. Does that mean that you don't really want me to come round?
No, I'd take you for a drink, Anthony.
Just don't let him shout "no planes" in the pub, because that won't go down well.
Yes, there'll be trouble if the barman smiles at him wrong.
Yeah.
That'd be a
That
cute
was a
video.
So show 200, Nathan.
Indeed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Still no scientific evidence or scientific proof of like axial rotation, gravity, curvature. Have you got anything that you can add to the table, Dawn?
Not today, no. We've got Google Earth.
That's not a model
right. I
that's
thought that wasn't
accepted
your
by
model
your
anymore,
side
though.
anymore. Sorry.
I watched a cool video how they make it. It's quite cool.
Oh yeah, tell us all about it.
They do it, base it on a flat plane, don't they, and compensate with all the water
Oh,
for the lack of
it
curvature.
wasn't like the full details of how it's made. It was just one of them like little videos explaining.
Yeah,
Nothing
explaining,
interesting.
but not actually showing.
Sounds like a rumpus explanation, doesn't it? Explain it. It's perfectly explained. It matches our observations. What observations?
Rumpus tried to tell me that you lot have retreated because of his points, so I tried to remind him it's show 200 tomorrow, mate. I don't think they retreated.
You said we've retreated.
Rumpus.
I don't
Of
think
course
so.
he does.
Why on earth would he think that? Is he deluded?
I think he might be, yeah.
So next time you speak to Rumpus, just ask him to watch the first 10 minutes of this show, where we kind of basically called him an idiot. Because he made the assertion about theodolites again, knowing that the apparent horizon is not the actual horizon. Yet he still makes the assertion anyway to ICE's innocent victims that don't necessarily know that the Earth's not a ball, but are there to seek answers, and they all think now that the theodolite will check for the horizon, and it's complete nonsense.
I think you should read his 90-page website just because you inspired it. Give him the credit.
I can't. A 90-page website. How do you do pages on a website?
All
you put the
based on
link in-
Isle of Man. I don't know. He just told me about it. I've never been there. I don't want to see it.
90 pages?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You'd have to pay me for it.
90 pages on the worst composite ever taken by a human being.
You have to understand that that's 30 miles worth of visibility you're looking at. That's not down the road.
Right. It's just such a bad photo.
What the hell are you talking about? It's a video.
Yeah, well, the composite's taken from the video, whatever. That's why one of the reasons why it was so bad.
Well, given that when Nathan came up here recently, he couldn't even see Isle of Man on the time. For the time he was here, I would say it's a fantastic picture. Would you agree, Nathan?
Yeah, absolutely superb.
I don't think that you've got the ability to scale. I don't think you understand what you're actually looking at. 30 miles is a long, long way.
Right, yeah, I'm not disputing any of the Isle of Man points. I'm just
No, you're disputing
pointing
the
out.
quality.
I'm just
of the
pointing out I
composite.
didn't like the composites very much.
Yeah, but the composite, like I said, 30 miles.
Just
If
shy
you
of
could
50
see what that means.
kilometres. Just shy of 50,000 metres.
Rabbit. Rabbit. Yeah, sorry. Anders said I'm a tree frog for some reason.
So if you're doing 60 mile an hour, Dawn, how long would it take you to get to that observation if it was 30 miles away?
Oh, maths.
Well, a
Maths
little
for
bit.
yawn treader.
If you're doing 60 miles an hour and it was 30 miles away, how long would it take you to get there? No?
Don't help him.
Just wondering, has he been sniped?
No.
No, I'm here. I don't need a maths question, thank you.
It's
Oh, but you're
like
you're happy
basic
to
arithmetic.
ridicule us.
You seriously can't tell me if you're travelling at 60 miles an hour, how long it'll take you to travel
I
30
don't
miles.
think asking Dawn a maths question is very good for Flat Earth Show 200.
What?
Oh my
Why
god.
not?
I do.
This is your opposition, Dawn. So
This is
you know what you want. So I'm going to patronise the hell out of you, right? So if
I'll
you're
Google
travelling,
it, yeah?
if you travel
put-
Oh.
60
Type the numbers
miles,
in and press return.
60 miles in 1 hour, yeah.
come on, dude.
Suddenly, I feel so happy that you
This
don't
is
know
a
this
1+1 question. Come on, dude.
3?
3 what hours?
Wow.
Because it might not be 2, mightn't it? Because
I think you might be developing a little ball
we
inside
just
of your
don't know
brain there.
anymore.
Right. Okay.
Depends how much refraction interferes with his travelling.
Yeah, I could
It
go
could be
through the
all of
dirty
it.
air and end
No,
up
it could be
off
all
the
of
side
them.
of it.
You could be
So-
looming up.
If you're doing 60 miles an hour, so you're covering 60 miles in 1 hour, how long do you think it takes to cover 30 miles? If you covered 60 in 1 hour, what point would you pass the 30-mile mark if you'd covered 60 in the hour?
What height is he? At what height?
Are we including standard refraction or?
Is Coriolis and the curve
Hey, Dan.
involved?
I
or
think this is
are we on
about
a flat
physical
plane?
travel in this case.
Can you hear us,
This is how
Dan?
it
Flat
goes, though, right?
Dan, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, Nathan, thanks for having me on.
No,
Yeah,
pleasure,
congratulations
pleasure.
on the 200th show.
Oh, pleasure to have you.
Hey, is that
Thanks.
Dan with you?
Yeah, Owen, hi, how you doing?
Hey, cool, man. Good to have you. So, have you found any curvature recently?
No, none whatsoever. just flat as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, literally.
So did we get an answer out of Dawn, by the way, or did it just get missed?
It just got missed, unfortunately.
Oh. Dawn, do you have an answer?
No.
Oh.
Let's move on.
Less said about that, the better.
Just be prepared for a few comments to go in as we're leaving it unanswered
I
intentionally.
feel really embarrassed.
Right, well, the comments section's going to tear you a new asshole, mate. I'm sorry.
That is. Sorry, but I don't get it. Like, people are complaining to me that I didn't went to university.
I just get confused with the numbers 30 and 60 when they're in an equation together.
Okay,
I've got no answer.
understandable. Do you not drive, by the way?
Sorry, but
Do you
like,
not drive, Dawn?
this
I don't
is
believe in miles either.
Yeah, but do you,
This is
do you drive a
8-year-old
car? Do you have a
question.
license to drive?
No.
That's probably why then. You know, if you're a driver, you tend to be constantly calculating that figure out to work out on a rough scale based on your speed, how quickly you'll get somewhere. If you're not a driver, you sit on the bus.
You sit on the bus and have 2 ice creams.
Exactly. And if you've got 2 ice creams and I've got 2 ice creams, none of us have really got any ice creams.
Did you guys ever watch that British sitcom called On the Buses?
Yep.
Indeed.
It was filmed in Liverpool, wasn't it? In some parts of it.
So cringy when you watch it back now.
Yeah.
It's,
is.
it's
So
wonderful.
Monty
It's
Python, though.
hilarious.
I've never laughed once at that program.
Was that some kind of coded dig at Riley?
Not intentionally.
Oh,
but,
you're on fire today, Alan.
Did you detect that, Tony?
I ignored it.
That laugh.
Unless I missed something that was said.
It wasn't, but the way Alan twisted that was just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, you are a funny man, Alan.
Sometimes he's funny.
One tries.
Sometimes. Not this time, Anthony.
I realise that I'm the butt of the jokes for numerous reasons, and if I have to take one for the team, then so be it.
Good man.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Is that right, Dawn?
You shouldn't have said that then, Dawn.
Timing is everything.
Don't worry, Rumpus will be along shortly.
Oh, good, I'm
joy.
hoping he does. So, I guess that's about it. There's still no evidence. Still no scientific proof for the shape of the Earth. I'm beginning to wonder whether it's some kind of other shape. You know, like the bigger picture. Not include. I don't mean the Earth shape, but I mean like.
Didn't we agree science doesn't provide proof?
Hey, Peanuts.
Me.
2 or 3 shows back.
No,
Good to
but
have you.
I don't think that we actually
We didn't
to
agree
that.
on that.
Science does give proof, but then eventually something may come up that will overturn that proof.
It gives evidence, and then you decide if that counts as proof.
What you should rather
Oh,
say
I
is
remember.
that no scientific proof is absolute.
I remember what we need to talk about. One of the claims that Rumpus made last night was that a vacuum is both physical and natural. And I was like, what are you talking about, you fool? And Rumpus really believes and was really arguing that a vacuum is A, physical, and B, natural. So that
Apparently
it
they
could
exist in
satisfy the
trees. I've
definition
never
of
heard that
science.
before, but that's apparently.
Yeah, well, come on, you guys know that archaeologists dig up vacuum chambers every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see him
And they're
roaming
that
on the
big because
plane,
they're that
don't you?
physical. You got to be really careful with them because they're fragile when they've been under the ground for that long.
Apparently their only natural predator is the lion.
No, it's a unicorn.
I just wanted to congratulate Nathan on show 200. I think that's pretty cool, and I think even Don Treader knows that something's not right, and Just whether you think it's a ball, whether you think it's a plane.
I agree.
We basically.
Dawn does know. He just denies all
Can you hear me?
evidence.
I know many things are not right, but I do not agree on the shape with you guys. I'm sorry.
Well, you've come a long way since the first time I talked to you. You were a dick first time I talked to you.
I can still be a dick.
Just point out
But,
that Don said, I don't agree on the
go
shape
ahead.
of you guys. So what do you mean the shape of you guys? What are you trying to say?
The shape.
We don't
I
really
don't
have a
agree on the
shape, we just have an
with
element.
you guys.
With you
The
guys.
flatness
Oh.
of the Earth is just an element. It's
You
not
did
the
say
shape.
shape of you guys. You did say that.
I tried to say with. I think I did.
Still a glober.
I was waiting for Alan. I led you beautifully, mate. You're just not on fire anymore. The flame's gone
No,
out.
your setup was very poor.
It
Very
was
poor.
beautiful. My setup was perfect. You just weren't paying attention.
4 candles.
Maybe
Four
it's a
candles. Hey Mark, how you doing?
Maybe everyone's a bit slow from the heat.
Can you hear us, Mark? Check.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Need to
Yo.
set you up a bit.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Loud
you.
and clear.
So who was grilling Dawn? Someone was.
I'm not sure if people called me yawn shredder because they heard me yawn, or whether I just started talking more early in the day after they called me yawn shredder. I don't know.
Hello. Just a slip.
Shout
Hello?
out to Multi Tom Tom and Ute.
Hello,
Hey,
Infinite Time. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good to
My
have
name
you.
is Jalal. Can you remember from Light Type?
Yeah, vaguely.
Don't think so.
No, I remember this accent.
I kicked him out because I vaguely remember him being just a troll.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I remember him being a bit of a dick as well. Maybe not, but that was my reaction too.
Fair enough.
One of my favourite episodes of previous ones was when Owen found out that Alan was a World War II veteran.
Yeah,
And
his
he was
reaction was
questioning
so,
him
"You're
about
not
his
a-"
internet knowledge.
Yeah.
No, if you'd have listened carefully, you'd have heard me say I wasn't.
Oh,
That was the joke.
You
I
eventually
didn't
admit
fight
that.
in 2 world wars. I admit.
That must have been you continuing to talk after the hangout had ended.
Yes.
On there.
Maybe.
There's been so many funny moments, but I ain't got a favourite one.
YouTube, is that really you? Probably not. Should I?
Bitch ass motherfucker.
Hello, YouTube. Good to have you. Hopefully you'll stay.
No, I know who that is.
YouTube.
That
That's not
sounded like Funny
YouTube.
Monster.
That's Shroomy.
That's Shroomy.
Oh yeah, Shroomy. Yeah.
Hey Steve, good to have you. Can you hear us, Steve? No sound from Steve. Drop and rejoin, mate. I think Tuft of Trees was probably the most funny moment of the whole series so far.
Yeah, it was
Hi
funny,
Zoe,
yeah.
how you doing?
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hi. Happy 200th.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's Zoe. I didn't recognise that. I didn't hear the name as you got introduced. I was waiting for you to speak so I could work out who it was.
Zoe,
Oh, well, I did
otherwise
say
known
hello
as
right away.
Be Here and
You
Love
did.
YouTuber. Check her out.
So, guys, we're on show 200, and we fully disagree on the shape of our reality where we live.
Correct.
And we're not convincing each other, are we, at all?
Well, I would say it's more about the
But
audience, but
we're still talking.
yeah, it's more about the audience than anything else. Do you want to try again, Steve?
Still
See if we can hear you.
I would say it's about you guys.
1 sec. Hey, Steve. Can you hear us?
You could take the word debate out of the title.
But that's precisely what we're doing. What are you
It's
talking
not
about?
we just disagree, and we're not convincing each other. So.
Yeah, but I just said it's
No,
more
but-
about the audience perception. You know, at the end of this,
Right.
it's down to, I'm going to say this generally, you, as in your judgment as an individual, not necessarily you now, you're on the panel, but for all those watching, it's up to their discernment in terms of what they decide at the end. That's all that's relevant to me, because I'm making a YouTube video. So that's what it's about.
148 watching now. Do you think it's like 50-50 flat earthers and globers, or what?
Yeah, I think so. We did a straw poll. I've only done one in the whole 200 shows asking who's flat, who's globe. and it was about 50-50.
Yeah, I can imagine it's about 50-50.
So, what do we all make of Debbie Duran?
Very nice.
Do you think that picture's real?
Yeah, what do you mean? The picture there on her icon? I've no idea. I don't think your picture's real, so I've got no reason to think either way with her either. I don't know her.
I'm a pumpkin. For real.
And who Elin is? Who's Elin?
That's me.
Brenda.
That's Brenda.
Brenda, hello. Good to have you.
Hey, Brenda.
Hello, Brenda.
Hey, Nummy.
Yes.
Brenda thinks that crepuscular rays are parallel.
I don't think they are. I
They
know
are.
they are.
What do you think of that one? Crepuscular rays are parallel, Nummy. What do you think of that?
Well, why do you think that, Brenda?
Isn't it obvious?
Because of perspective.
Explain.
Well, are railroad tracks parallel?
Interesting. Yeah, but does that work if they're coming in from a more vertical direction still, I guess?
Yes.
Why wouldn't it?
I haven't given this much thought, to be honest with you.
Right. So we know that railroad tracks are parallel, but they appear to converge. But that's just an illusion of perspective.
But for that
Well,
to
what
be
happens when you
true,
go
hold on,
side
can I
on to
just
the railway
say
line?
something? Sorry to interrupt. For that to be true, you would have to see them coming out from the sun and converging back on the sun at distance. Therefore, you wouldn't get the diagram equivalent where they show you only straight lines coming from the sun. Oh, I've lost
No,
the
maybe
entire
she's right
panel.
that the rays themselves are parallel, but are the rays compared to the other rays also parallel? Because it doesn't look like that at all.
It's one of those. You look up, you see him triangulating onto the sun and going out at multiple angles, and she's saying that that's because like railway tracks, they're converging on the sun at 93 million miles away, and it's like, well, fine. You want to believe that? Fair enough. What are you supposed to say to that?
Well, when you go side on to the railway lines and you're looking at them from perpendicular to the railway lines, they don't converge. They go left to right. But when you're perpendicular to the sun, you don't get the same experience. So the only time that the perspective argument works is when you're stood in between the railway lines. But when you're watching it side on, it's not the same experience.
I see.
Has she been kicked?
The whole hangout has. I'm just starting a new one.
Oh.
You want to actually, it might be an idea because we've see how long we got left. Coming up to about an hour. I would do a link, but my kids like crawled on me in a really
Am I
weird
back in,
way.
yeah?
Yeah, you're back in.
Thank you.
Should I bring Nummy in as well?
No. What I was going to ask is, can you both join the hangout if I start a new one?
Sure.
Is that for me as well?
Yeah, all of us. He's trying to show that these trolls are idiots, and that's all he's showing.
Okay, great. So we're going to go back to masturbators for the link. Okay,
Yeah.
see you there.
Same for Nummy Num.
Shall I go too?
Yeah, it's there in masturbators now. For the audience's benefit, right? Masturbators. Should really just do my link. Sod it. My kid's crawling all over me. It's very unprofessional, but that's just the way it goes. So masturbators is just the name of a Skype chat. So yeah. Right, come on, Munchkin. I know you're tired, but if you can sit through me just for this one little thing. So we've got about an hour left on this live stream. Hope you're all enjoying the stream thus far. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, as Shill Scanner, get my tongue around it, did earlier, thank you very much. Big shout out to Shill Scanner. There is a super chat that runs alongside this show while it's live, and there's a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly, though, if you'd like to join the debate, which won't be the case for about 10 minutes, but simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is exactly 1 hour left on this live stream. Oh, let's take you all off mute. Not quite with it, with my kid crawling all over me. So who have we got? Sleeping Warrior, Arwin, and Mark. Good to have you all. Did you manage to get Nummy in on the Skype call?
Well, you wanted the Skype call ending.
No. I just wondered if he'd joined at all, though, just so we can get him back on if he isn't. Or maybe he'll just click the link when we put it out publicly, who knows.
Rejoin the other Hangout.
Yeah, I haven't shared the link, though, so he's not going to come on to join us until that link's public, which it isn't at the moment, just for the next 10 minutes or so. Just so we can have like a half-decent conversation without having to start Battle of the Trolls. But in about 10 minutes, it'll be troll battling time.
Well, you may as well just put it out now, just entice them in, and then we'll just deal with it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Because at the minute, Brenda's not in here, so until Brenda either returns or Allenby returns or whatever.
Well, chat amongst yourselves for a moment, because I'm just gonna. My kid wants some attention, so I just don't want to be distracted with too many things.
Nummy, oh right, so I don't know how can't get the message to you, but Nummy, if you don't know how to Skype very well.
Oi.
Oggy. So how's Zoe this morning?
Oh, a little tired. Gonna be taking a nap soon, but yeah.
What's the weather doing for you today? We had the worst rain last night. It was like a storm.
Oh, it's beautiful here. It's like 19 degrees here, 17 something. Sunny, very sunny and beautiful.
Yeah, same here. Lots of chemtrails though.
Same here. Yeah. Beautiful here.
Same here. So, but yeah. So, how's it feel, Nathan? 200 shows. That's a lot, huh?
Yeah, I'm really proud. I'm really pleased.
Yeah. You have all the reason to be. I'm proud of you.
Slowly realising the Achilles heel of the globe Earth is science, and they accuse us of being religious science deniers, and yet they are in a religion, and science is definitely not on their side.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, how ironic. Call me a science denier and a religious whatever. It's like, no, you are part of a religion and you deny science in favour of pseudoscience. How ironic.
Well, it is kind of ironic in the same way that, during the Inquisition, the Inquisitors were supposedly routing out people that offended Christ, and I don't think Christ would really agree to that at all. So it's the same type of irony.
Well, at least ballers aren't going around killing people. So.
Not yet, anyway.
That's true.
Well. Believe in the ball or you're done for.
Submit to the ball.
Yeah, submit to the ball.
Do you confess that it is a ball?
Yeah, but you are treated like dirt if you deny it.
Yeah, but that's the only card they have is ridicule.
I was gonna say that's the main card they play is flat out ridicule, because if you're on the losing side of the argument and you don't have scientific evidence to back up your assertions, then you are in a religion, and science is not on your side. In fact, it's on our side. That's why we're using it against them at the moment, and it's not going down well. It's again, like you say, straight back to ridicule.
Yeah, pathetic, really is.
Maybe.
But I mean, we've had a lot of interesting conversations over the past 3 years. I mean, it's
was watching a YouTube video last night of a clergyman who claimed that flat earthers are mentally diseased.
Yeah.
And he based that he on a letter that he'd been corresponding with Tiger Dan, and his justification for a ball Earth was the celestial southern pole, flights in the southern hemisphere plane, and the yacht race around Antarctica. Now, I've not heard that one before. Has anybody heard or investigated the yacht race around Antarctica?
Yeah, it doesn't go around Antarctica. It drops around the southern continents, but it doesn't go near the Antarctic area. Some people argue it does.
They're not allowed to go beyond 60 degrees, are they?
Yeah, they stay on the southern tips of the landmass, our landmass. But they claim it's the Antarctica because it's like close to it, but it's not really that close.
Just a sec. Have to take care of my dogs.
Have you had any more good weather recently, Mark? Our weather's been rubbish.
No, there's some high pressure coming in. It did tell us last week that Monday was going to be good, but they pushed it over to Tuesday, and now they put it on to Thursday. So I don't know. I've ordered myself a 600 millimeter mirror lens for my camera. It should have arrived today, but it hasn't. So as soon as we get good weather, I'll be off to Belfast Lock.
Yeah, I'm up at St. Bees at the minute because the weather forecast was meant to be good for today. Last night rain was just.
I've been sort of distracted with the Isle of Man because we have to identify what we're seeing. But there's plenty of stuff inland around here that I'm familiar with. Belfast Lock is 10 miles in length, and it doesn't get the high rough seas that the Irish Sea gets. And there's lots of details that you can see.
Check 1 2.
So that's where I'm going to be heading as soon as I get my new lens.
Stay up to date with the flat earth debate.
Hang on a minute, I've not even had a welcome yet.
I did say hello. I was just on mute. I'm really sorry, Issa. I welcomed you and then realised I was on mute. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. I just figured for the 200th episode, I'd come in and
join, and before you get the welcome, you'd start playing your guitar.
Well, yeah, of course. Just for Captain Bullshit, because he loves it so much.
Can we have any chance we can have an uninterrupted?
I wanted to give Nathan our song.
Hello, Nami. Can we have a welcome to the show? Because that's my favourite, if I'm honest.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. The whole song or what? Yeah, we want.
Just give us a chorus.
If the rest of the panel are willing to let you play the whole song, I'd definitely be willing to hear it.
All right, cool.
Always. Hi, Issa.
Hey, Zoe. What up, love? Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, forgive me. Because I got my stay up to date with the Flat Earth debate song I was going to do. But I'd be more than happy to, brother. You hear me still?
Yep.
Nice.
Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Didn't they teach you to reach for the stars while opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars, vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, captivated hate-filled scars, rage quit repertoires, no answers for yards, caught up in emotion that's not even yours, imposter truths like impeccable retards, lined up for your serving of gish gallop and war, no remedy can save the lost in love with the yarn. Played by disgusting bard, soaked in sin with your duper's delight and a new hand of cards. Been so long, seems like for love. I'm just too hard. I'm just too hard. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, don't know.
Oh no.
Welcome
Come
to
to
the
the
show.
show.
If you don't
You
know.
don't know. Oh no.
Intoxicated hate makes you believe you're spinning in space while you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate how to save myself from my own self-hate. Wonder why I was even made with the dreadful fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate. No one to help me stay awake or educate. I've had to liberate and fight through hidden gates. But my brother, heaven could never be late. No, rockets, they don't work in space. It's all fake. The show is done marked with a joke, but you're too far gone, it won't be long. Fair play speak is strong. We have a song and we march along like streams of knowledge leading to God's holy pond and lives of truth that eats the bond. Thinks the song turns mankind from the wrong. We come in peace with a holy gown and all of us wearing our holy crown. So the earth is flat and we probably just won't get along. Just to get along, I say.
Welcome to the show. You don't know. You don't know. Welcome to the show. You don't know. You don't know.
Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Did they really go to the moon? I don't know. I don't know. Is there really a rover on Mars with a gopher? I don't know. Welcome to the show. You don't know. You don't know.
You don't know.
Yo. Thank you for letting me play it, man.
Woo,
Well,
thank you very much.
Happy 200th. Yeah, man. Thank you, everyone.
I've got to say, this is now the nicest panel I've ever had. So I've got Zoe Scribner, Anthony, Nummy Num, Mark, Karen, Issa, and Arwin. What a lovely, lovely panel. Thank you all for being here.
What a pleasure, man. I'm so happy that you do what you do, brother. Thank you for hosting your show.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting in the time and the effort. It is appreciated.
Much.
Thank you very much, Nathan. You're an excellent.
Don't praise me. It's an absolute pleasure doing this show, especially when I've got panels like I have now. Don't even need to publish the link.
And too, I think there's so many beautiful people all over on all sides of the aisle of this issue, and I think really that is something that this show kind of celebrates. So thank you for doing it, brother.
I don't mind having
cheers, Nathan.
the last section of the show being what would be called by ballers a circle jerk. But who cares? It's my show. It's 200. I don't care.
Every now and again.
Every now and again, exactly. Yeah, we are. We're all flat earthers on this panel, aren't we?
Not me. I'm arguing for the ball. I would call it.
Right.
What is it? What do you call it? Stay up to date with the flat earth debate. Sing it, Zoe.
I don't know.
I'm just making it up. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Stay up to date with the flat earth debate. You gotta stay
up to date. Stay up to date with the flat earth debate. Wanna stay up to date with the flat earth debate. Oh yeah. Listening to all the talking back and forth 2 hours a day. My favorite show. My favorite
stay up late. I stay up late to watch the flat earth debate. Stay up late.
Stay up to date.
To stay up to date, I stay up too late. Just to watch the flat earth debate. Gotta stay up to date. Stay up late.
To date.
Do what it takes. Get the flat earth debate. Stay up to date with the flat earth debate. You gotta stay up to date with the flat earth Flat earth debate with Nate.
All right, thank you very much. I want to say a
Yeah.
proper hello to Karen. So, hello, Karen. We haven't actually said a proper hello to you yet. So, hello. How you doing? Hopefully, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
Hi,
Hey, Karen.
Hi, Zoe. I didn't know you could sing. I love your voice.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I should do it some more, but yeah. Well, that's good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. Yeah, what do you call it? Bless everybody listening. Bless everybody that stays up to date. Nathan. Thank you. And I gotta say, shout out to like all the funny everyone who's got a sense of humor. Remember, funny wins.
Yeah.
Shout out to Allenby. Shout out to Lottie. Shout out to Dawn Treader. Shout out to all the good people on all sides of the aisle of this conversation, man. Even Timmy with the fucking tufted trees. Pardon my language.
Oh, there.
Oh God, I love you guys. I'll be listening, and thank you again, Nathan. Keep up the good vibes, brother. Peace to everybody out there. Later, everybody. Later, Karen.
Thanks for
Zoe.
keeping us up to date.
Oh yes, thank you.
Hopefully, there's still time for debate, so I've put the link out now, so we will get some ballers in. For some
all right,
discussion,
bless.
I'm
I'll
sure.
make some space. Forward, everybody.
Oh yeah, how many are we?
Optical phenomena.
Yeah. An optical phenomena. Well, bye,
Physicality assumption bias.
Yeah, shout out to Tough to Trees if you're out there.
What?
Shout out to Tough to Trees if he's out there.
Oh,
listening.
shout out. Yeah.
Hey, Alan. Good to have you back.
Hey, welcome back.
So we swapped Issa for Alan. Damn.
That's all right.
That's a brilliant trade. He's a
Hi.
bloody hippie.
I don't know. I don't know about
You
that.
some kind of hippie or something?
Yeah, he comes on here like Bob Dylan. Awful songs. Awful.
Oh, you meanie. I've heard you try and sing Gloria Gaynor. You're not even in key.
No, it's not my strongest point, Nathan. I did try, though.
So you're going to bring some controversy with you? Maybe some globe assertions?
No. Who cares? Who cares? You can believe what you want.
I'm back.
Hey, Dawn. Welcome back.
Hey, Dawn.
Hello.
Karen, what do you know?
Hmm?
What do you know?
What do I know about what?
Anything? Have you heard any interesting information? Any evidence for the ball? Anything interesting?
Evidence of the ball? No. No, sorry. I haven't found any of that.
You in St. Bees again, Tony?
Oh.
Yes. I am. I'm up here.
What's the weather like? It's rather good in Leeds.
It was terrible yesterday, but it's improving. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's good. It's still poor.
Are you up there to do some photography or just sightseeing?
No, we come up to do some photography because the weather's supposed to be getting good. Like Mark was saying, it was supposed to be good on Monday. Then he put it back to Tuesday. Now it looks like it's back to Wednesday. It's ridiculous.
So what's your plan? What are you trying to capture this time around? Anything in particular?
More pictures of Ireland?
Mackle Lighthouse from the top observation point, and I'm planning on getting a few hours worth of time lapse so I can get multiple shots of the same thing over a period of time to see what the effect of refraction on it is.
Right.
Because I agree with cathexis. If you get one particular frame of one time of the day, it can support both sides of the argument depending on the time of the day. So my view is to try and get it so it's more shots of the same thing over the day so that it's not like that.
You should
Trying
get,
to average it out, kind of thing.
Hey, Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
Hello.
you should get your wife to take the pictures. At least it'd be in focus.
She hasn't got enough of a cameras and lens, though. I mean, Dawn was criticising it before, saying it was the worst composite ever. I don't think Dawn realises how far 30 miles actually is. It's a ridiculously huge distance. It's like, whoa.
It's like
It's
3 hours.
It's half an hour in a car at 60.
3 hours in the car.
Yeah,
Maybe
3
two.
hours.
Are you accepting photo composites now?
Composites? Depends on what you're trying to prove.
Depends if they're
Oh,
repeatable.
so if you're trying to prove something you don't like, then it's not okay?
It's
Well, if you're trying to
repeatability.
prove the existence of something, a composite's generally not going to be good evidence to prove the existence of something. But if you're trying to identify features of a photograph, the composites aren't trying to prove the existence of the subject matter.
Are we talking about a stitch, Anthony?
Yeah, stitching photos together. Apparently that's okay now.
Well, why wouldn't it
I don't
be-
see what difference it makes whether or not you're stitching together satellite photos or you're stitching together photos you took on a beach.
There's a massive difference. Come on.
Something. Then a
Well, there's obviously not a difference.
Well, what
Yeah,
were
No,
the
there is a
satellite
difference, Brendan. I'm
pictures
trying
of?
to explain it to you, but you keep
Hold on.
speaking over me.
What
You're
were
trying
the
to prove
satellite
the
pictures of?
existence something. No,
What were the satellite pictures of?
Why?
because it's not a real photograph, is it? It's been manipulated.
No, then your photographs aren't real.
Who cares? I'm not saying that they are real. What we're trying
Oh,
to do.
so it's not real.
I'm not
So
trying to argue that they're
your
real.
photos, your stitched together photos of the Isle of Man are not real.
Correct. They've
You're
been-
trying to prove the existence of the Isle of Man in your stitched
No,
together photographs.
we were
Therefore, it's
trying
not
to
allowed.
identify features. We weren't trying to prove the existence of. We were trying to identify.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
Yeah,
stitching.
but when he's stitching the photos together, he's not actually warping those
Well, yeah,
photos
you
to
think
fit
Isle
in a
of Man's
How do
specific.
I know that? How do I know that he's not warping them?
Well, you can come and verify it yourself.
You can
Exactly,
you can
that's
argue
where I
that they're fake.
started. So you can just go and do it yourself. You can verify it like Ranty did. So he just went out and did the same exact thing.
Well, we can't get. Well, the point is.
So no. Just before you decide what the point's going to be, I asked you a question about what the pictures of satellites had taken, so I can ascertain whether or not, like Ranty, we can go and replicate them. So what were they taking pictures of specifically?
The Earth.
Oh, so can I go and replicate that?
Yeah, you could
How do I go and
How?
replicate that?
put your own satellite up and take pictures.
Sorry,
Really?
so we're allowed to just put satellites up.
Sure.
I don't have to go through any authoritative body.
Well, you don't have enough money to put one up.
No,
but you
sorry, that's not what I
could.
said. I didn't say money. I said don't have to go through any authoritative body.
No, you just have to have enough money to put your satellite into the payload of a SpaceX.
Oh, so I
booster.
have to go through SpaceX. So I can't do it.
Huh?
I have to go through a third party, SpaceX. So
Well, then
I
build your
can't
own
do
rock-
it.
build your own
Sorry,
booster
let's just
then.
get it clear. I can't do it as an individual. Doesn't matter about
Yes,
money.
you can.
No.
Sorry,
Yes, you
if I had,
can.
you just said
Brenda,
if
you
I had
can't
enough
do it
money, I
without
could go through
joining
SpaceX. So
another
if I had
group.
all the money in the world, which
So-
I didn't mention you did, I'd have to go through SpaceX even if I did have the money, right?
No. If you had all the money in the world, you could build your own boosters, build your own satellite, put it into the payload, and launch it up and take photographs.
And guess
So,
what? You'll
like,
find
hold on,
just
hold
be
on.
allowed, just like that.
So, Mad
Well,
Mike.
so Brenda,
hold on,
Brenda,
hold
why
on,
don't you
hold
do
on,
that
hold on.
then? And then why
Mad
don't you
Mike's
do
just
that
launched
and
a
provide
rocket.
objectively
I don't have-
Hold on,
I don't
Mad
have all the
Mike's
money in
just
the
launched a
world.
rocket. So Mad Mike did exactly that, Brenda. Was he just allowed to launch it wherever he liked? Or did he have to go through other parties to get permissions?
His little steam rocket was going to
Sorry,
kill
it's a
him.
rocket. You just said I just needed to build my own rocket. So we've had a person do that and he had to get permission.
He was going to kill himself because he's an
Sorry,
idiot.
you're going off topic. Did he need to get permission? Yes, he did.
He didn't. His design.
He
would have
he
killed
had to
him.
get permission, didn't he,
obfuscating,
Brenda?
Can I ask a question?
Design would have killed him.
Can I ask a question? Brenda, why is it the case that when flat earthers ask ball earthers for evidence, like of the spherical nature of the Earth from a rocket, where they literally just put the camera on the rocket and up it goes and don't change anything, just leave it on, That's considered to be unreasonable. Yet you cite that it's reasonable for us to just get a bit of money and go and do it ourselves. I think the word unreasonable in the two contexts is a little bit unfair. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree.
So you think getting all the money in the world to be able to self-fund our own rocket is reasonable, but sticking a camera on the side of a rocket and leaving it there and not touching it, you don't think that's unreasonable?
What I think is unreasonable is the demand that unless you can do something yourself, you can't know anything. And that's unreasonable.
That's called
you
verifying
don't have to do
things.
everything yourself.
No, that's
in order to know something.
Called verification.
That's called there's no such thing as verification in science.
What are you talking about? Oh my god. I can't believe my ears. Here we go.
There's no such thing as
Brenda,
verification
you're losing it.
in science.
You're losing
Karl
it.
Popper refuted verificationism in science in the 1950s. Verificationism does not work.
Yeah, well, if you
Because
can't replicate something, if you can't replicate the evidence, then you have no scientific proof.
Replicating an experiment isn't verification. It's just replicating an experiment.
Okay, well, that's what the scientific method requires, systematic experimentation. So if you're going to class an observation as an experiment, which it's not, we'd still need to repeat it. Thank you for the super chat, Joey. So repeatability is still part of it, regardless of how you want to dice up verification as a definition. I don't mind changing the word.
Karen's been kicked. Brenda's been kicked. Alwyn's been kicked.
Nightmare. And Brenda.
Yeah.
Hey ho. Clearly Chris MCMXCII doesn't want to have a decent conversation today, so one individual has decided to ruin this show. Fun, fun, fun.
It was, who was it now? It was the user known as Chocolate Say Ian was one, and Bobby was the other one. No, it was. Yeah, Bobby that did it. So
anyway,
Alwyn, if you didn't catch Bobby when he joined, that's the reason why.
Anywho.
So basically, Brenda was saying that science cannot verify an experiment. Is that what she just said?
Well, she's claiming that a certain person refuted it and called it verificationism or something to that effect. I'll have to look it up.
Because if that was what she said, then that means that science can't prove anything, and then science can't verify anything. What can science do? What would be the point of science? All the money that it gets from taxation from the people, and it doesn't seem to be able to do anything.
Yeah, well, when it's working against them, they're going to claim that science is useless. Yet, on the same breath, they will say that the entire body of science is behind them.
Yeah. It's like when they give the refraction adjustment for anything that appears to look a bit too flat. They'll make it adjust it any way that they want. But when there seems to be one that supports their version of the event, it doesn't even get mentioned.
Or it does get mentioned, they just say, we don't even need refraction.
Yeah. Oh, have I missed someone there? No.
Cracky, what's going on?
Troll attack.
You thought they'd have a day off for 200?
No. Works the other way around.
Nevertheless, this link is still public, so people can still join, even though we've got a current troll attack on. New peak, 172 people watching the show. That's the most any time of any of these debates. Nice that the 200's had a peak. That's good.
All come to see me.
They've all come to see you, Alan. That's right.
All can see Brenda claiming. I'm sure she said that science can't verify experiments. I'm sure that's what she said. Where's Arwin? Can we get Arwin back on Skype? He heard what she said.
Yeah, I'll drag him back on. Give me a second. Oh, troll attack continues.
Yeah, it's all right. You bring him back in.
Okay.
Take my eyes off if I slurp my coffee. Sniped.
Oh, just as I was trying to call him, he's now calling me. Oh, God's sake. Yeah,
Well, I'm getting kind of droopy here, so I'm gonna go take my nap and listen to the rest of the show and jump off now before I get sniped anyway. So
You'll not get sniped when I'm paying attention.
okay.
What
But yeah, happy 200th. Oh, now I'm being called up anyway. Oh.
Yeah, bye me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Right, so let's Nath, do me a favor. Add me to that Skype call so that I can add Nummy Num. And then I'll drop out the Skype call.
Okay.
Just
yeah,
in it.
you've done. I think Arwen's on the case.
Hey, Dan W.
There we go. Just muted you in the Hangout while you add.
Dan
Thanks
just
for the-
donated £2.
Thanks for the super chat, Dan W. Hold Brenda's feet to the fire, he says. Fortunately, she's been kicked out. Still troll attack.
I'm currently listening to some kind of techno from the boys next door.
Oh, yeah. So we've got about half an hour left on this live stream. Fun though it's been so far. Hope you're all enjoying it. If you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, as Dan W has just done, be sure to hit the super chat, which runs alongside the show while it's live. There's also a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Massive thanks to all of you who've done so already. Sharing the show increases the chances of a more diverse panel. That's right, Munchkin. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
She's practicing to replace you, Nathan.
It's the most sensible thing anybody's ever said on this show.
I'd agree.
And maybe in 10 years, she'll be taking over.
Yeah, man. Then I could do absolutely nothing. Just teach her these buttons here. Just to show her how to eject people. Teach her the troll names.
Right, did Nummy Num join?
Eleanor's Flat Earth debate.
Yes, I think he did. Hey, Nummy, welcome back.
Oh, thanks. Hello.
Hello.
Arwin, did you catch what Brenda said? Did she say that science can't verify experiments? Is that what she said?
I don't know what's wrong with her. She said all kind of very silly things. I think she's
was that
having
what she said,
a total solipsistic reversal.
Was that what she said, though?
She was talking about verificationism in science.
Verificationism. But was the sentence that she said? Did she say that science can't verify experiments? Is that what she actually said?
That's correct.
So if science can't prove anything and science can't verify experiments, what can science actually do? Does anybody know? Nath, do you know what science can do?
Science is a study of the natural world. It's as simple as that.
Well, I know some people say that science can only disprove things and not prove things.
Nonsense.
Yeah, that is a load of nonsense. So if science can't prove anything and it can't verify anything, what purpose does it have then, other than take money off us?
That's a different term of science that you're talking about now.
Oh.
Institutes of technology take money off the taxpayer for nonsense like NASA.
Yeah, the science narrative, the science story.
Scientism.
Yeah, scientism. The science religion.
Precisely. The science religion. But we were saying earlier, I don't know if you caught it, me, but we were saying how ironic that we're called science deniers, and yet the Achilles heel of globe Earth is science. And we get called religious. And in fact, the globe is a religion.
Yep. But it's a special.
Hey, Numi, I'm gonna have to
unusual
call you on
kind of
something you said the
religion that
other day.
doesn't see itself as such. It's a unique case.
Hey, Numi, I'm gonna have to call you on something you said the other day that I didn't agree with. You said that you said something like words to the effect of we should consider vacuums to be science because, and then you gave a reason for it. And after the show, I thought, no, vacuums don't exist in the natural world unless we create them. Unless you can give a demonstration. Rumpus gave something about trees as a vacuum. I don't quite understand how we got to trees and vacuum, but he cited trees were a vacuum.
He was
He
wrong.
also-
It's not. Trees don't create vacuum. They use the capillary effect to draw in water.
Well, I guess it's about how we define the natural world, right? Like, my understanding of what that word refers to is not just what's not, like, I don't see that we should place the constraint that only things that are not created by human beings should be considered natural. I think the way that I understand the word natural in terms of at least natural science is just the objective study of phenomena, regardless of their particular origin. Like, if we can test it and we can study it, I don't see why it would be outside of the purview of science, personally. That's my view of it.
Do you agree, though, that a vacuum doesn't exist unless we create one?
I think that there are, then we have to define what's meant by vacuum. Like, a perfect vacuum? Probably not, but I think that the definition of vacuum is actually, includes a partial vacuum. So there being situations of variable pressure. I don't know.
Decreased pressure.
Yeah, or almost things like sound waves and things like that rely on the creation of momentary vacuums in order to propagate. So, it depends. Does something like a vacuum chamber exist in nature? Not that I know of, but I also don't think we can necessarily rule it out.
Sound
But
waves need
then
temporary
it's not a
vacuum.
vacuum. It's more like a pressure decreasing motion.
Well, that's what a vacuum is, isn't it?
No,
a vacuum is a substantial pressure differential, right? But it's one that creates a negative, or at least a zero value, because that would be the definition of a vacuum: the absence of air, right?
I don't think that is actually the definition of a vacuum, according to a dictionary or a scientific glossary. I think that a vacuum is actually just a pressure that's less than one bar.
My issue with it is even if vacuums occur in the natural world, which I don't think they do, if they did, you could study that phenomena. But to say, well, objects in a vacuum fall at 9.8 meters per second squared is so disingenuous, in my opinion, because if there was, for the sake of argument, a vacuum created in my knuckles, well, are you saying that you can study the natural phenomena of stuff falling in that vacuum? Well, no, it's ludicrous.
It's a very big knuckle.
Right. No, but you can do all kinds of experiments with a
vacuum
vacuum chamber, right? Where you can learn a lot about how gases and how phase transitions of matter and things like that. Like that, the boiling point of water is water will boil when exposed to a vacuum, and you can do experiments about that and learn a lot. So is that not scientific? Is that not some kind of scientific?
It's not that it's not
research?
scientific. It's just not a natural phenomena.
Well, I think that's where we disagree. I think it is I think I don't see that just because humans create it, it's not a natural phenomenon. Humans are a natural phenomena.
That's the definition of natural, not man-made.
Where would you
that's
draw the
one
line, though, if
definition
we were
of
to accept
natural.
vacuums as not as man-made phenomena that is satisfying the definition of science? Therefore, would you not draw the line and say that space can be also considered to be natural?
Sorry, what? I don't
Where do you
understand
draw
the
the
question.
line between something that's man-made, something that we have to create, right? We can create a vacuum. If you're going to
Mhm.
include vacuums as the definition of science, where do you draw the line with regards to natural? Because should we include space?
No, but no, that's not observed.
Yeah, I don't.
The observed phenomena. It's a natural observed phenomena, and I kind of agree, but
you, Ali?
at the same time disagree because it's just not necessary. Rumpus, like, insisted on putting the vacuum in there. It's not necessary. You just include the air friction element in there, and it works just as fine. And he was just being very stubborn.
We're just getting into a semantic kind of question here. I mean, I think that my understanding of this word natural in the context of science is that it is not opposed, it's opposed to supernatural. Natural explanations versus supernatural explanations, because at a certain point in history, there was a schism between those points of view where basically, natural sciences arose because people were.
But that's not what it was about. It wasn't about the explanation. It was about an observed phenomena. It's
Well,
not
hang on.
about the
Let's
explanation.
say for the sake of discussion that
I
we'll
don't
say,
think
okay,
that's-
in the contrast point over supernatural, then yeah, you could include it as natural for a vacuum. However, the definition says natural and physical, so it wouldn't satisfy the physical element of it, even if we gave way on the natural part, because there's nothing
What do you
physical
mean?
about
It's
it's the absence
physical,
of
isn't
something
it?
physical, right?
What?
No,
A
it's
vacuum
about
is not physical.
Look, it's about the first step. It's about an observed phenomena.
All I can say
Right.
is, like, if I agree with your definition of natural, then I agree. But if I don't agree with your definition of natural, then I don't agree. So it's all
what I
about
was saying,
how we're going to define natural. Like, if I accept your definition of natural, then sure, fine. But my understanding of the word in the context of science is different. So I'm basing
what I was
my.
saying was, if we can agree that you can have the natural for the vacuum, right? If you say that a vacuum is natural, it still doesn't satisfy the second part of the definition of science, which is and physical. So let's say that we can have natural, how's a vacuum physical?
Well, it's a physical phenomenon. How is it not physical?
It's the absence of something physical, right?
Well,
Yeah, but that's still
space,
in the
itself is a physical phenomenon, I would say.
Who was it that was arguing the other day for who was it now? It was Haunted House, wasn't it? He said true atheism doesn't even comment on religion, because by commenting on religion, you're acknowledging that there's something there worth arguing over. In this case, it's kind of the same thing in that you can't have something that's not physical, the absence of something physical, satisfying the definition of something physical, because it's the opposite.
No, but I think that just like the X, just like a volume of empty space is a physical thing. But like, we're just getting into how we're going to define the words more than an argument about.
But the problem with it is it opens the door to space being considered science.
No, it doesn't, because you can't observe that.
No, I'm not talking about outer space. I'm talking about just space generally. Like,
I don't mean you. I don't mean
one
you.
cubic
I mean,
meter of space that you could measure right in front of you. I'm not talking about outer space versus within the atmosphere. I'm just saying that there's a space, like, say if we take a given cubic meter of air and we remove the air from that cubic meter somehow, that I still think that cubic meter of space emptied of air is still a physical phenomenon. Like, it's still taking up the space that could be filled with air.
that saying though, if you give somebody an inch, they take a mile. If we give you that saying, if somebody gives you an inch, they can take a mile. Well, let's say that for the sake of discussion, let's just say that we agree that you could use a vacuum in the definition of science. The rumpus will take a mile and then claim that everything to do with space is therefore science.
Yeah, but you can't observe it. That's the whole thing. You can't observe a vacuum chamber.
To me,
it relates to physicality. and to then automatically jump to the assumption of outer space and the vacuum that's supposedly there, that's not an observed phenomena.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Eric, is
I
that
like
you?
listen, Riley, I'm not interested in changing my viewpoint for strategic reasons. I think the earth is flat, and I think that this debate can be like, we don't have to pull any punches or change any definitions or have strategic use of words or anything. I think that we can have this debate as honestly as possible, as straightforwardly as possible.
I'm with you. I'm not
we're still
against you. What
come
my
out with
concern
flat
is that
Earth.
I'm with you, Nomi. I'm not against you at all. My concern is that if we give you an inch, the rumpus will take a mile. That's the problem.
But he will take a mile anyway.
Can try to take a mile, and it's not going to work. Like, or if it does, then it does. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying, is that I'm not gonna change my viewpoint on this for strategic purposes against the rumpus or whatever. Like, I'm trying. I'm just telling you what I honestly think and how I honestly.
I'm not asking you to change your viewpoint based on strategy. I'm asking you to change your viewpoint based on the definition of science, because of the complications.
Okay, but we have a disagreement about the definition of science. Like I say, if I agree with your definition, then I'll agree with you. But I don't find that to be the most useful way of defining it.
That's not my definition of science, though.
What isn't?
What I just said about it's the observation of the natural and physical world. That's not my definition of science.
What? Okay. I don't. So what do you? So what's the point that you're trying to make?
Right, Nathan, if you wouldn't mind sharing my screen, I'll show Nomi what I'm referring to.
You'll have to give me about 30 seconds so that they can see it as well. Just give me a sec.
How am I going to see your screen on the Skype call?
You just look in the Hangout.
No, I'm going to bring it up. Don't worry. I'll have that sorted in a moment.
So just... Oh, okay.
There you go.
Can you let me know when you see it, Nomi?
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind that this isn't against you. This is in the bigger picture. The intellectual, well, instantly that rules rumpus out. And practical, that includes all the flat earthers, because we all go out and do practical activities, encompassing the systematic duty of the structure and behaviour of, and then this is the bit that's important, the physical and natural world. It's both elements together. It's not one or the other. It's the both requirement, because it's got the word and. So with regards to a vacuum, I would argue that it's neither physical nor natural, because it opens the door to space being then satisfying the definition for science. And because rumpus is not the intellectual, he will include space for science. And I think that's dangerous, because you're kind of allowing rumpus to preach his nonsense by allowing the vacuum to be interpreted as science, which I think is dodgy.
No, but
what do you mean
but this is not the scientific method. This is just a generalized version.
Yeah,
we
but
were having trouble with the scientific method because in there it was very specific in its description.
I know, but what I'm saying is when Rumpus says things like
I think he's talking to me, so I just want to respond to this, which is that okay, you're saying like a vacuum isn't science, but no, a vacuum is, in my opinion, it's a physical, natural phenomenon that can be studied using the scientific method. Like, I don't think that you could say something like vacuums aren't science. Like, to me, that doesn't even make sense, really. And like I say, also, I'm not worried. I don't think you should be worried about how Rumpus is going to use this. Like, I don't think it's going to help. Let him have it. Whatever, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
No, we can't let him have it. Because he says things like, well, when you say, have you got any evidence for that? He'll say, well, yeah, the whole body of science. And he does use that phrase. So if he says the whole body of science, but then includes space as like the whole body of science, it's not, we can't verify spacey things as credible, verifiable, repeatable. Yet space comes up in a lot of the discussions.
Yeah. Yeah, personally, I wouldn't tailor my definitions and uses of words towards a specific person's use or abuse of those terms. Like I don't think it's useful. And I do think that a vacuum is a physical and natural phenomena, personally, according to my understanding of what those words mean.
Right, but would you agree, though, forget about your understanding for the moment, in terms of this interpretation here, this definition, would you agree that a vacuum on this definition is neither physical nor natural, even though your personal view is that it is?
No.
Objectively speaking.
No, I don't think so. I don't see what about that definition would indicate that a vacuum is not physical or natural. I don't see anything in that definition that would indicate that that's the case about that specifically.
I don't agree. I think that it's dangerous to allow them to use vacuums in their argument in favor of science because it satisfies the definition of science. So I disagree completely with you on it because I think it's too risky for people like the Rumpus because they'll take an mile and we can't argue against it if you don't agree with us because they'll say things like, "Well, Nummy Num thinks it's science," and then I'm like, "Well, I don't agree with Nummy Num."
Thinks it's science. Like, I think I don't know. I think we have a lot of we have a lot of different understandings of definitions and words here that are all like converging on this one subject of vacuums and nature.
Can I try and summarize for what you're saying to me? Because from what this is why I phrased my question yesterday. Where can I find a naturally occurring vacuum? Well, what Nummy's saying, Anthony, is that he sees it as a naturally occurring phenomena. Therefore, regardless of what anyone else thinks, it does fall under the correct definition of science for Nummy because he sees a vacuum as a naturally occurring phenomena. It's as simple as that, and you're not going to change his mind.
No, I agree with that, and I was saying that what I'm saying is it's okay if he thinks that it's natural science for him, but it's not okay for me that he thinks that. So basically, when I get challenged by one of the ballers and says, "Well, Nummy thinks it is," I won't be backing you publicly, Nummy, even though I accept what you say. I won't be backing you publicly because I'll say I disagree with him. It doesn't satisfy the definition, and then I'll have to have the whole argument.
That's allowed.
Yeah, you know what? I respect your view. I respect your point of view. Like, and you can respect mine. I mean, I'm just to me, it's very important to just be as honest as possible and to be as straightforward as possible. And I'm doing my best to do that. And you could change my mind if you presented an argument that I found convincing, but I'm not finding
application of the definition is the most important part of it. For me, that's like you can't get any stronger than the definition. But if you're not with the definition and I can't persuade you otherwise, then okay, just it causes me problems later on because they will say, "Nummy doesn't agree with you," and I'll say, "Right, fuck Nummy." That's what I'll have to say. That's all.
All right. Well, I don't think that you're gonna find. Like I say, so it's like I feel like you're kind of asking me to sort of tentatively agree with you for strategic team play purposes or something, and I would like to, I would like to have as much solidarity as possible with the people who's generally share the worldview of flat Earth, but I'm not gonna.
The reason why this is an issue is because the Rumpus says things like, "Well, the whole body of science agrees with me." But that's not true.
Yeah, but that's just a lie. Look, every time Rumpus says that, it's wrong because there's many conflicting proven scientific details that conflict. So it's just a fallacious statement every time he says that. Maybe you should focus on that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. And I don't think that if we give them that vacuums are a natural phenomenon, that it's going to really help their argument towards the globe Earth. Personally, I don't think we need to worry about things like that. I think that we need to worry about being intellectually honest as possible.
What we can do is clip the wings because that meant that we can take statements away from them, like things that Rumpus says, which is, "Well, the whole body of science agrees with me." Well, no, it doesn't, because the whole body of science isn't as big as what you think it is. That's all I was getting at. I mean, it's not a strategical thing. It's the application of what the science means, and it does become semantical. But when it's us being semantical, it's argued against us for being semantical. But when they do it, it's credible, which I find just unbelievably
incredible in their minds. Look, every time Rumpus says the whole body of science, it's just nonsense. It's wrong.
nothing
the whole
we
body of
say
science
or
does
do,
not support this argument.
nothing we win, lose, or draw in terms of how the arguments are perceived, whether or not someone's got a winning point or a losing point. Nothing will change the shape of the Earth. You know, for me or Nummy, I can't speak for you, but I think I can firmly assert this for Nummy. He's not going to change his mind. The Earth's still going to be flat tomorrow, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're on, as far as he's concerned, and I'm concerned, and hopefully you're concerned, we're on the winning side of the argument, regardless of some of the semantics or whether or not some of the debating points get won, lost, or drawn.
Yeah, and I also I don't see this Merriam-Webster's dictionary as necessarily being the highest authority on the definition of these terms either. I think that we should define these terms in a logical and practical way, like in a way that makes sense to the subject matter, and not just be dogmatically hung up on, these organizations that basically claim the authority to define terms, but where it doesn't always make sense. You know what I mean? Like, so because to me it doesn't, they're not understanding the history and etymology of the word natural in the context of science within the definition that you're presenting. And then I think I could find other definitions probably from other sources that would conflict with that. So how would we decide which one is authoritative?
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that the word "and" in between doesn't automatically mean that they have to be both. They can just be either.
Yeah.
No. Otherwise, it's the word "or."
But I'm not going to be hung up about.
No, but then it would automatically exclude. But it just could be "and." It could be both. Doesn't need to be both. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, and also I would warn against allowing, because, if you set this precedent that whatever Merriam-Webster's dictionary says is, we're going to be hung up on that "and," or we're going to be hung up on the minutia of their definition of words, like that could be used against you in the future. I mean, I think that there's not all dictionaries are made equal, and you'll find that there's a lot of conflict between different, what are considered to be respectable and authoritative dictionaries. But there's a whole conversation to be had about how much authority should we really be affording to these companies that produce dictionaries, right? Like, where do they get the authority to define our words?
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully for sharing this debate. And of course, a massive, huge, enormous thank you also to all of the debating panel for joining and making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!